titans fall and the final march of the gods. Labyrinth mysteries travel in circles through tide, carrying secrets of an age lost in centuries. Bleaching marbles shimmer, blinding the plunderers and those once profane. Immortality regained as the philosopher's creed echoes through millennia, and the warrior's psyche eternally rests in Elysium.
Of civilization has been marred by bloodshed. The tales we tell ourselves seem only to find glory in what one can conquer. Humanity has a poor record when searching for peace. However, we are living in a phase of renewal. No matter what dogmatic religious people say about this being the end times, I can cast my vote for what humanity is becoming. A version of itself not hindered by the greed of the past, but advancing through the knowledge of what we can be. In this information age, human beings with unprecedented access to data our ancestors could only dream of are beginning to see the reality beyond their experience, a privilege which will allow us to see different cultures as being just as human as whatever society we find ourselves in, and thus perpetuate a standard of understanding of each other previously impossible because of cultural barriers which acted as thick walls. Now such barriers have become permeable due to our technological advancement. We must set aside the dogma of nationalism and supremacy in order for humanity to reach a new possible synthesis of ideology, no longer plagued by ignorance, no longer plagued by the pains of fear and desire that held us to the ideologies which our forefathers so incessantly clung to. We can become a new ideology. We can reach a synthesis with all people and reach eventually we'll be able to reach a consensus. Not forced, not demanded, but eventually human beings will reach a state to where reason and compassion become the standard. And when this happens, we'll start to see how human beings react to this new cultural environment of compassion and understanding. It is no simple matter to have come upon this state of existence we find ourselves in. As I said, we have access to information. We also have access to the spiritual knowledge of many generations past as we're uncovering it. And not only uncovering it, but realizing it within. Unlocking those barriers within ourselves, along our spine, in our mind, and in our heart, that our ancestors long ago did. But their information was lost. Now we're rediscovering humanity within ourselves. It's wondrous. But what we have to realize is that it is not a sure thing. It cannot be certain that we will succeed in moving forward. Dogma, whether it be political or religious, is still a great danger. It's still a great threat to the future that we can all be a part of. I'm a spiritual person. I don't consider myself a religious person. I don't consider myself a very political person in the sense that I'm aligned with a particular party politically. But I will say that there are still many dangers in the hatred political parties have for one another and religions have for one another. So we have to advance ourselves that we may influence and convince these people that are violent in this or that way that it is far better to come together with your fellow man, and you can say compromise, but I wouldn't use that word, but communicate purely and simply as human beings. And when communication is there, when there is a constant communication, a clear communication, not inhibited by emotions that are negative emotions, that's when we truly have a chance of becoming more than we are. We have a chance of seeing past these differences and realizing that these differences were false allegiances, never really meant to last, and ones we never really thought through. But at any rate, thank you very much for listening. Find yourselves, brothers and sisters. Find who you are. And once you do, it will be far easier to help other people find who they are. Thank you very much.